Hey everybody. So yeah, maybe I'll just say the code of conduct. So it's recorded, it will be uploaded to YouTube. So anybody doesn't feel comfortable being recorded can drop off or mute themselves. So I think we have only two topics for today. The first big one is the SBOM groups feature discussion. So Jens, wanna start with it?
Yeah, sure. Let me try to share the screen. See if that works. Screen share. Maybe trickier than anticipated.
Uh,
Share. Yes. Ah, okay, there we go. Um, okay. Can you see the screen?
yep, all good.
Okay, perfect. So this is an ADR in the Trustify repository. It's not yet merged, so it's there out there for getting comments. We already had a few comments on the ADR. More is welcome, and I'm trying to not to walk you through technically 100% of that ADR, but to give you an idea what we have in mind, what the goal is, and if you're interested in how you can contribute to that document. So the original idea was to be able to group SBOMs into products or product version or product groups. And there it got really complicated because the definition of what actually is a product can be rather tricky, especially if you have different companies doing different styles of organization. And so we took a step back and said, like, okay, how can we group SBOMs in general? And maybe build something that you can actually use to then model your hierarchy. Um, and the idea is to start out with a very basic kind of folder style hierarchical grouping system. So you have groups, and those groups, they can contain SBOMs. And this is the way you can organize them. And a group can have a subgroup, and a group has a name. And this is the basic idea. A thing that is like a little bit different than, for example, like a file system, if you think about that, is that an SBOM can be part of zero groups, but can also be part of one or more groups. So because we actually did see the cases where an SBOM belonged into like an SBOM describing multiple products at the same time. So it would need to end up in multiple groups. Maybe it makes actually sense to have other use cases where the SBOMs fall into multiple of those buckets, groups, folders. So that's why it should be possible to have a group in multiple groups, sorry. So whenever I say group or bucket, it actually means group. Um, we played around with the terms a little bit. Um, and also the initial process or the initial state will be of an existing Trustify setup will be that there's a lot of SBOMs, but they're not grouped yet. So a lot of SBOMs are not currently assigned to groups instead of like inventing an artificial root group or something like that. You have the ability to just upload it and group it later. Then we have in that ADR, we have the basic structure. Okay, we have the SBOM, just the core element of that SBOM, the ID, and there you have that relationship between SBOM and group. So then there is a little bit of section how that could be modeled in SQL, just that we have an idea. If you're more technical, and then we go into like the different sections, how Trustify should be changed to support that. Yes, we do need more permissions in order to work with that. Then we have the discussion about identifiers and names. So this is where, like you saw on top, you have an identifier for the group, but then there's also a name. The name has to be unique in the context of a parent, just to create that structure. And if you like think about a file system or like an email folder system, that should all sound a little bit familiar. One of the feedbacks that came in is that maybe it makes sense to limit the group names, at least during creation time. So if a user creates a group name with 3 spaces as a name, that might be confusing, or leading spaces, stuff like that. So we have an initial set of limitations. The idea is that this is a limitation that will be enforced right now when setting the name, so creation or update. But later on, we might actually relax those if we think, for example, come to a good use case that says, well, we need the, I don't know, $sign and the group name, so maybe allow that as well, and this would allow a future update. Then we have the different API data models, and so you might notice this is Rust code as an example. So this is what we use as code later on. If you're familiar with the Trustify project, then will be easier to read. If you're not, I can understand that this is a bit tricky, but can also try to find a different way to represent that. But that's currently like what will be the most accurate later on. Right, and then we go into the different API endpoints that either need to be created or updated. I'm just browsing over them because this is just basic CRUD operation for the groups. And then there's a few like more specialized to get a group not by identifier but by the path name using the hierarchy of names. The different expectations to what happens if things go wrong. And then later on we can assign SBOMs to groups. And then we have the existing APIs that we already have SBOM upload, for example, where we do want to enable like directly while uploading an SBOM to assign it to a bunch of groups in the same process. There have been a few open questions in the past. I think we sorted out most of them by now. There are future tasks which are not part of this ADR, so building a UI on top of that. There's also the idea of considering a Postgres L-tree as a way to work, like speed certain operations up. Not sure if you're going there for that, but right now this is out of scope of this ADR. So if you're interested in, I have to see if I can move the Zoom. Yeah, I can. Controls. So if you're interested in this ADR is in the repository. It's a markdown file. The core changes are in the markdown file over here. And of course, since it's a pull request, can I navigate back? Yes. So you are welcome to comment. Yep. Comment on this, like we had a few existing comments there, feedback incorporated. So if you think something could be changed or if you have questions, please feel free to ask. Yeah, that's in a nutshell the ADR. If you have any questions, we can talk about that right now. Okay, I'll stop sharing and we can move on to the next topic.
I just have one thing, Michelle. Maybe at some point you can walk us through the UI work being done for this.
Sure. I
don't want to put it on spot today. Yeah. So
I was going to say I don't have mockups ready, but yes, there will be a nice UI in front of this, and then it will go into. We can talk about products in another meeting, like a certain type of group and how we plan to use it and so on. So, awesome. Thank you,
cool.
Jens. Yeah.
Thanks. So another topic, we currently are using sorcery.ai as a GitHub agent to help us review the PRs and things like that. There's a motion within the company to use Codo AI. So I was just, I think it would probably need to do some actions as an administrator based on this to change these things. I just wanted to see if anybody from the community or have any concerns or things like that. Because we didn't start this work yet, I'm not sure if anything will be needed, and especially so I will raise that in Slack as we go. But this is just like a yeah, upfront notification that we will exploring Codo AI and see how to use it for Trustify repositories. So
I just want to point out, and there's obviously some conflict of interest here, but recently Kusari and OpenSSF partnered. So now all OpenSSF projects will get access to Kusari Inspector, which is an AI code review tool that we've used elsewhere in like the GUAC and GUAC visualizer repos. So that's another option as well. Obviously, there's no requirement to use that, but
yeah, great. Let's put it on the list and investigate that as well. So thanks, Ben. Jens?
Yeah, like I would be interested. Would it be possible, like technically possible to add both tools to the repository?
as far as I know, yes. So Kusari Inspector
Yes.
runs as an app and just provides a status check. So green check mark, red X kind of feedback with details. So I don't know much about Sorcery or Kodo, but I would think they would work in a complementary fashion.
I mean, I think we can keep even sorcery, but having it not to be automatically pushing its reviews, but maybe on demand. Maybe somebody will find it useful. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, let's think about it. Play with Codo, play with Inspector, and yeah, find a good way. Maybe by the next meeting we can come up with a plan how best to incorporate all these agents. Yeah, there will be more agents than maintainers soon. Yeah, so that was all from my side. Anybody else have any topics? Cool. We have some time back today. Thanks, everybody.